Sandro Tonali has been hit with yet another betting charge, this time from the Football Association. Hey guys, welcome to the channel, welcome to another video, and yes, it is another story of Sandro Tonali and Newcastle that has been hitting the headlines today in regards to the Italian midfielder being charged by the FA for a further 50 breaches in gambling, in the gambling laws of the game, for alleged breaches of FA's betting rules is what is being said by the FA today. Obviously, we know about Tonali's troubles. We know that he's obviously currently serving a betting breach ban for what he did over in Italy when he was an AC Milan player. That is going to see him ruled out for 10 months as a whole, but he's obviously going to be back for the end of August. But now he faces potentially another charge and another ban from football, with the FA coming out today and saying that he's going to be he could be charged further with breaches of FA betting rules that he has conducted whilst being a Newcastle player. And obviously the extraordinary thing about this is that, of course, the transfer that took him from AC Milan to Newcastle, of course, happened in the summer of last year, which means that during his time as a Newcastle player, he has breached betting laws despite only being a Newcastle player for such a short space of time. We're going to be talking about this. We're going to be talking about the help surrounding it, why we should be sympathizing with a player with this kind of addiction and black cloud hanging over him and that kind of stuff. But before we go any further and talk about that, I would like to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe if you're new. Both things are always and forever greatly appreciated. Get involved in the comment section as well. Let me know your thoughts, your comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it. That'll make for great and interesting reading, I'm sure, down below on this particular topic. Please do get involved. But without further ado, let's get on with the video. Let's talk Sandro Tonali and the ban that could potentially be added on to the current ban he is already serving. We know that obviously Tonali got hit with a big charge a fair few months ago now, where things that he had done in Italy in regards to gambling and betting laws over there, he had allegedly breached, and he was getting punished for that despite obviously transferring from AC Milan to Newcastle in the summer. He was hit with a 10-month ban. It means that on the 27th of August, that ban should have been lifted. But in the meantime, he'd have to miss the remainder of the season. He probably will miss the very small beginning of next season as well. But also, it would mean he would miss Italy's European Championship spot if obviously they got there. And now it's feared that with the FA coming out today with this news that he's being charged again, he could have that ban somewhat extended for at least the Premier League, because obviously they are seemingly fresh charges. Then he's not being charged seemingly for the same thing twice, and it's all happened seemingly between a time frame of August to October of last year, at a time where Tonali was a Newcastle player. A statement today came out from the FA going, regulation and discipline update. Sandro Tonali has been charged with the misconduct in relation to alleged breaches of the FA's betting rules. It's alleged that the Newcastle United midfielder breached FA rules E8 50 times by placing bets on football matches between 12th of August 2023 and 12th of October 2023. Sandro Tonali has until 5th of April 2024 to respond. It's huge. It's again huge, and you know, people will probably say it's another kick in the teeth for Tonali. It's another kick in the teeth for Newcastle. Maybe not. We'll get onto that a little later. And why I personally believe that there should be a positive to come out from all this, which again I'll get onto a little later. But the fact of the matter is that Sandro Tonali is currently dealing with a horrible, horrific demon that is this horrible, horrific addiction, gambling. Some people can control it better than others, and of course Tonali isn't going to be the only one going through this. Whether you're a professional footballer or not, Sandro Tonali is not going to be the only person going through this currently. He won't be the first player. He's definitely not the first player to be going through this. He definitely won't be the last player to go through this. We know that obviously Ivan Toney's another high-profile case that was dealt with last year. And recently, of course, within the past couple of months or so, he has returned to English football, where obviously there is big talk about his future and about his speculation, given the fact that he's a great player. And Tonali's a great player. Tonali is a fantastic talent. But we all said the same thing when it came to this deal. It came out of left field. It came a little bit out of the blue. It was a bit almost rushed, if you like, particularly on AC Milan's part, that this was happening. And then all of a sudden it comes out about his betting breaches and these betting scandal kind of things. And there was question marks over how much did AC Milan know about this particular demon that Tonali was dealing with. And I've got to ask the question of Newcastle here. Did they know about this? Did they know this demon that he was trying to fight? Did they know about this black cloud that was seemingly looming over him? Because if they did, they certainly didn't help him immediately right off the bat of joining Newcastle, because he's gone and done it again. Imagine having all of that stuff being investigated about you over in Italy, about breaching betting laws and things like that. And all the while, you're in England, you've just taken Milan and transferred it for Newcastle, and you're still doing it. It shows a sickness. It shows an addiction. It shows that he needed help. And the people around him should be completely to blame for not giving him that help that he needed. I can only sympathise here with Tonali on this, because he clearly needed help. And I don't think, or I don't see enough help being given to these players. It's no coincidence that Tonali's now has been hit not once, but now twice. Ivan Toney was hit. Even going back to Paul Merson, probably the most notorious guy to within one of the most notorious people to be hit with a gambling addiction within football. He's spoken so openly and honestly about going through that addiction, and I think even he's alluded to the fact that there's not enough help out there for those kinds of things. There isn't enough help for those kinds of things. And that obviously needs to change. And that's the positive thing that I'm talking about from this. If there is any sort of positive that I'm hoping will come out of these kinds of stories, it's that there will be things put in place by the FA, by FIFA, by UEFA, whoever it may be, to get help for these types of players. Because people will sit there and they'll go, Sandro Tonali, he's got so much money. Why does he need to gamble? Why does he need to gamble? It's because there's a thrill element. There's an excitement element to gambling. There's a buzz of adrenaline you get from when you put a bet on and you're invested in that game, or you're invested in whatever it may be that you put a bet on. You're invested, and you're invested even more than what you were probably before you put a bet on. And then you chase that, and you chase it, and you chase it, and you like the thrill of winning. And you get something that you don't get anywhere else. And that is what, obviously, Tonali's basically got, because he's got the money. He doesn't need to gamble it. He just needs to invest it wisely and obviously maintain it. But yet, he's still wanted to do this. Now, either he needs to understand the guidelines of betting and obviously understand what he can and can't bet on, or he needs serious help. And I would bet it's on the latter of that he needs serious help. And like I say, that's why I put the finger of blame, if there ever is one, is on the people around him for not helping him. He clearly had a demon, and they clearly were not helping him through that. And like I say, it's evident in the way that he was going through that investigation over in Italy. It's obviously followed him over here, which is why the band's followed him over here. And yet, whilst that's still going on, he's still doing it. And he's been found guilty yet again. Now, whether or not the FA will charge him and obviously extend that ban, it's probably possible and possibly likely that is going to happen. So that August 27th deadline of him returning to football properly will probably now be extended. And I don't know how I don't know how long that will be. I don't even want to guess at how long that would be. If they obviously made Toney 8 months, Tonali on top of what has already been said and done over in Italy. It could even be longer than that, maybe, potentially. It's bad for Tonali. It really is, and it's such a shame for such a talented and such a high potential footballer to be going down this route and to have his career hit with this kind of addiction. It is just horrible. Like I say, I point the finger at blame at the people around him. I point the finger at blame maybe at Newcastle as well. And I have to question, on one side of things, how much did AC Milan know about this? I also have to question how much did Newcastle know about this, and did they actually do enough to maybe help Tonali through it? I don't know if they did. They say they'll stand by him now. Maybe it's a little bit too late, in all honesty. Maybe they should have done it right off the bat. I don't know. I don't know the full ins and outs of it, of course. But obviously these questions do need to be asked. Did they do enough due diligence on this guy to bring him in? Because right now it's looking like it's a lot of money down the drain for Newcastle, and it's obviously a massive hit that Newcastle need to take on this, because this was their first real big opportunity to splash the cash and to show their strength in the transfer market, and it's been hit with failure. Not necessarily down to their own doing, but obviously, did they do enough to help? That's what we've got to question here, and that's what we've got to look at. But overall, let's not get sidetracked. Like, those are extra layers to this story, but the main layers of this story that we need to be looking at is sympathizing with such an addiction. We can't and we shouldn't vilify these types of players for having these kinds of addictions, whether it be anything to do with drink, drugs, gambling, anything along them lines. They are strong addictions that obviously we need to be taking seriously, and obviously people need help with, and this is no exception. And we shouldn't. The English media are the worst at building people up, only to love to see them get knocked back down again. And that's exactly what happened with Ivan Toney. Ivan Toney, when obviously the whole gambling thing came to light, they were doing everything in their power to show him as being a disgrace. He's let people down. He's this, he's that, he's whatever. We shouldn't be doing that. We shouldn't be doing that. We should be obviously helping these people, and we should be trying to help them in any way we can to combat that addiction and to try and fight that demon that they are fighting. And no one should be exempt from that. If they are, whether they are sort of our homegrown, as I guess you'd say with Ivan Toney to an extent, or whether it is for someone of foreign nature, like what Sandro Tonali is right now. Like, that shouldn't matter. It should be about a community coming together and trying to help. And obviously the English media are terrible at that. But at the same time, like I say, I expect nothing less from them. It's a sad state of affairs. It's obviously a horrible addiction, and I really pray and I hope that Tonali does get the help that he so desperately needs. And I'm hoping that the people around him are taking a good hard look at themselves and trying to help him as well, because he definitely needs their help as much as he needs to help himself as well. Like I say, I think there are some unanswered questions that we probably won't get the answers to, such as things like how much did AC Milan know? Did Newcastle do enough due diligence on this potential deal? Things of that nature. We'll obviously probably never get an answer to that, or maybe it will come within a lot of time later on down the line. We'll obviously have to wait and see on that. But yeah, it's so unfortunate that this demon has taken hold of such a talented player, and a guy who we may not get to see in the Premier League again for a while, and that is extremely unfortunate as well, or on any football pitch for that matter, whether it be the Premier League or wherever. But I think, yeah, Newcastle have to look at themselves. There have to be some questions asked of AC Milan. How much do they really know? I don't know if anything bad can come about with AC Milan knowing or not knowing what they did, but at the same time, I still think the people that are around Tonali, yeah, they needed to do more, in my opinion. Yeah, we shouldn't vilify them. We need to help them. We need to sympathise with them. And we need to help them in any way, shape or form that we can. But obviously, for Newcastle, it's another hit for them. It's another hit for Tonali. It's unfortunate. It's horrible. It's a really bad situation. But I guarantee you this, just to finish on the bottom line of this, Tonali, like I said earlier, he isn't the first footballer or anyone to be hit with this kind of demon. He won't be the last. And it'll be interesting to see if there are any more out there that kind of fall into this trap. I'm hoping there isn't, and I'm hoping that the one positive that we can get from this now is that there will become more help from this. Because it's all right, you know, the powers that be and the football organisations to sit there and to obviously hand out bans for gambling firms and things of that nature, but they are ultimately the first ones to try and recruit those same gambling organisations for big name sponsors, and those gambling organisations are obviously there to jostle for position to be the next big sponsor for the next big football organisation. So I'm hoping that there will be more to come from this in a positive manner. I'm hoping that there will be more help from this. I'm hoping that they may rethink their position in terms of gambling sponsors and things of that nature, as long as there is more help out there for these kinds of people that are affected by this. So fingers crossed that that will be the case. But other than that, those are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of all of this Sandro Tonali news? Do you think he will be charged further? Do you think anything else should come about of this? Should it be a positive thing? Do you sympathise with him, or do you think he is the maker of his own downfall? Let me know your thoughts, your comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, on this particular topic down below in the comment section, on all of the things that I talked about in this video. Otherwise, hit the like button on the way out if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you are new and want to see more content like this. Both things are always and very greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video, and I will see you speak to you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll speak to you all again very, very soon.